Thank you, Professor Pandey. So it gives me immense pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Chandaki Ram Gautam, who is a Senior Assistant Professor of Physics Department, Lucknow University. Physics Department is also having its centennial celebration because it was one of the departments which started 100 years back. 100 साल पहले 1920-21 में जब यहाँ का एकेडमिक सेशन स्टार्ट हुआ, इसका सेंटिनियल 100वां साल हम लोग आज यहाँ सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं इस हिंदी डिपार्टमेंट के सामने कला प्रांगण में मेट्रो के नीचे। तो फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेंट से आगाज हुआ, इन्होंने बीएससी किया साइंस में, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री मैथमेटिक्स, एमएससी किया फिजिक्स इलेक्ट्रॉनिक में सीसीएस यूनिवर्सिटी चौधरी चरण सिंह यूनिवर्सिटी मेरठ से 95 और 97 रेस्पेक्टिवली में, और इन्होंने एमफिल की डिग्री फिजिक्स में ली आईआईटी रुड़की से। एमटेक इन्होंने मटेरियल्स टेक्नोलॉजी में 2000 में लिया। ही इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट प्रोडक्टिव टीचर्स ऑफ आवर यूनिवर्सिटी, क्योंकि लूटा के व्हाट्सएप में हर 15 दिन में एक पेपर छप जाता है, तो इतना तो बहुत कम लोग इतने प्रोडक्टिव होंगे। और डॉक्टर साहब का बड़ा इलस्ट्रियस बायोडेटा है। यंग साइंटिस्ट अवार्ड भी यूपी काउंसिल ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी से इनको मिला। अब चूंकि हम लोग लेट चल रहे हैं तो मैं अक्सर से गुजारिश करूंगा कि वो 20 मिनट में अपने लेक्चर को यहाँ के ऑडियंस को बताएं, एंड सो दैट वी शुड गेट बेनिफिटेड फ्रॉम हिज वास्ट एक्सपीरियंस इन द फील्ड ऑफ फिजिक्स, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड मटेरियल साइंस एंड सिरेमिक्स इन पर्टिकुलर। सो नाउ ओवर टू यू डॉक्टर सी.आर. गौतम।
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to thanks to Professor Yomitu Rai ji for giving me this opportunity to present our work, what we have done in our research laboratory, and I also thanks to the all organizing committee members. Basically this part I focus on the point of view to the students, so I will not go in the details of the of physics. So before that, some materials, basically how materials are useful for human being and technologically significant, playing role for different machines and devices. So ceramics, it's a very common name. Most of them might be you heard it, but I don't know, do you understand the proper meaning of this word? So there are two kinds. Ceramics are nothing but the ceramics are the non-metallic elemental solids which are fabricated by using the high temperature. Okay, and these materials are very hard in nature. They are non-corrosive in humid environment and they have high mechanical strength, but apart from these significant properties, the ceramics generally are very brittle in nature. So there are two kinds of the ceramic materials, the traditional ceramics and advanced ceramics. Traditional ceramics, जितने भी मटेरियल्स आप देख रहे हैं, जितने भी बिल्डिंग के मटेरियल्स हैं, कंस्ट्रक्शन के मटेरियल्स हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल सीमेंट, टाइल्स, रिफ्रैक्टरी, ब्रिक्स, क्ले, पॉटरी, all comes under the traditional ceramics. However, the second variety of the ceramics materials, that are the advanced ceramics. So advanced ceramics, really they are the wonderful materials and they are widely being used for different applications. For example, from kitchen to aerospace. In kitchen, we are using the gas lighter. In that gas lighter, we are using the ceramic material. And for example, in aerospace, the space shuttle and missiles, they are fabricated some parts of the ceramic materials. I will describe some about some materials, which are the materials they are used for such type applications. Then I will highlight some materials, ceramic materials, which are used for biomedical applications. The one I would like to quote one most popular example of advanced ceramics. So the spacecraft was launched by NASA in 2003, and our young scientist Kalpana Chawla, one of the astronauts for that mission. But unfortunately, that mission was could not get success, and some little means very less distance was uncovered to reach on the Earth from the space. So the failure of that space shuttle basically due to the ceramic material, and that ceramic, might be you know that space shuttle is fabricated, its skin, outer skin was covered by more than 27,000 tiles, means ceramic plates, and these plates play significant role for the protection of the high temperature as well as low temperature. So this is the beauty of these materials. They can act at high temperature as well as low temperature. So when the space shuttles coming from the space and entering in the atmosphere, so what happens? There are more than 2,000 degree centigrade temperature was produced due to some different kinds of the hot gases, and when it's entering the atmosphere, from space to atmosphere, there is some certain pressure and high temperature. So that tiles already trapped, and scientists could not, they find later on, but that time they could not retrieve it. So when it is entering in the atmosphere, that particular tiles, it's completely damaged and it falls on the right wing of the shuttle, and immediately shuttle get burned. So these are the materials which are very useful. So I would like to focus some other ceramic materials. These are the glass materials. So glasses are nothing but the inorganic product of fusion, which has cooled to rigid condition without any crystallization. मतलब ये सभी अकार्बनिक जितने भी पदार्थ हैं उनके ऑक्साइड्स हैं, उनको लेके हम लोग ग्लास को बनाते हैं। और ये ग्लास भी हम लोग दो तरीके के हैं, पहले ग्लास बनाते हैं, देन हम लोग ग्लास सिरेमिक्स बनाते हैं। I have a small video, so I will show you the video how to synthesize the glass and their glass ceramics. So they also have a very wonderful application. For example, by using these glass ceramics, we can make several electronic devices. For example, high energy storage capacitors, and also we can synthesize, we can fabricate the optical fiber. So optical fiber, might be you know very well about the optical fiber. The discovery of the optical fiber was by Dr. Narendra Kapani. He was the Indian scientist, but that discovery was discovered in USA, and that discovery was limited up to for endoscopy purpose. So by using that optical fiber, we can see inside the stomach what is happening inside the abdomen. There are certain problems with the patients. Sometimes they have the ulcer and some other things. So by using the endoscopy, so that optical fiber being used. But later on, Charles Tao is one of the great scientists, and in 2009 he received the Nobel Prize because he started the work on the optical fiber that was made by the glass. Means basically it was made by the pure silica, and Narendra Kapani was limited up to the optical fiber for endoscopy purpose. So that optical fiber have certain defects. So these defects basically was signified by the Charles Tao, and he synthesized the pure silica the purity was 99.999, and then he fabricated the optical fiber, because if any defects inside the optical fiber, so there is no total internal reflection. The total internal reflection means the transmission of the signal. So that optical fiber changed the entire world. Even if we are using the mobile, we are using the laptop, the internet connectivity, you can see how fast internet we are using now. But long back, we are suffering due to the low connectivity of the internet. So these are the applications of these materials. Now, apart from that, I would like to focus on the some ceramic materials for biomedical applications. So, there are several types of the materials, means polymer, metals, bioceramics and composite materials. So, polymeric materials are amorphous materials, but these materials could not operate at high temperature. So that is the major drawback of the polymeric material. However, the metals can withstand with high temperature, but metals have certain limitations. For example, metals have high density, high thermal expansion coefficient, and they are degraded in humid environment. That's why the metallic implant not suitable for a long time span. So the requirement is to replace the metallic implant by using some composite materials. These are the ceramic materials. So there are three kinds of the implant materials. These are the bioinert. Bioinert means tissue from a non-adherent fibrous capsule around the implant. For example, alumina, zirconia and carbon. These are the materials which known as bioinert materials. Now the second category is the biofused ceramics. These are the materials which form interfacial chemical bonds with the implant. For example, hydroxyapatite. So hydroxyapatite is the material which is very similar to our natural bone. So we can synthesize the nanohydroxyapatite in our laboratory, and we can, by using this particular material, we can synthesize some composite materials. So the pure form of hydroxyapatite could not be used for bone implant material because it's due to its poor mechanical strength. Otherwise, it's a highly biocompatible material, and it's very similar, very close to the natural bone material. So the challenge, what are the challenges? So challenges are there. We have to enhance the mechanical properties without losing its biocompatibility. So this is the major challenge, and we try in our lab and we get success for this material. Now the third variety of the ceramic materials, that is biodegradable materials. So it replaces the tissue from the implant, and it is also calcium carbonate, and it has several phases. For example, beta tricalcium phosphate. So what is the hydroxyapatite? Is the material which is synthesized by taking the two different kinds of the precursor, that is the calcium oxide, and another one sodium phosphate material. So these are the two precursors, and then we have to fix some pH by using the sodium hydroxide pH. So we can synthesize this material, but its structure really very complicated and it's hexagonal structure. So now I am not going in the details, but what are the other applications? So you can see the structure of the teeth. So our teeth are nearly the outer layer containing the 97% of hydroxyapatite material, and the rest 3% organic material. The dentine, another layer after the tusk and enamel, that there is a dentine material, and it's containing 70% hydroxyapatite and 30% other organic materials. So, these are several applications. Means we can fabricate the artificial teeth by using these materials. We can make means the artificial eye for making the symmetry on the face, and we can also fabricate some other dental implant materials. So these are the challenges which I have discussed already. Now there are several synthesis methods to synthesize a method. जिस तरीके से हम लोग अलग अलग रेसिपी बना के भोजन को ग्रहण करते हैं, उसी तरीके से उनके अलग अलग टेस्ट होते हैं, उसी तरीके से हम लोग अलग अलग विधि को यूज करके अलग अलग तरीके के पदार्थों को बना सकते हैं. और एज पर रिक्वायरमेंट्स वी हैव टू यूज ए स्पेसिफिक synthesis method. So here we are using the microwave synthesis. Why we are using this synthesis method? Because it's time energy saving method, and by using this method we can synthesize a material within 10 minutes. So it is energy saving method, and using these materials, these are some FTIR, some characterization techniques. By using this we can analyze the feed, what is the feed, and we can analyze the bone, we can get the bone information, and we can see the surface morphology of these materials. So porosity is one of the major parameter which play significant role for the body fluid. So porosity should be there. If you are increasing the porosity, so mechanical strength is going to be deteriorated. So this is also the big challenge. We have to maintain the porosity as well as the mechanical strength. Now the transmission electron microscopy has been used to analyze the morphology at atomic level. We can see the each and every atom by using this technique, and also we can determine the particle size, whether our material is nanomaterial or it is a micron order material. So these are the EDX energy dispersive action analysis. Okay, sir. Okay. So what we did some mechanical properties to check the properties whether our synthesized hydroxyapatite composite materials can bear the load comparable to the natural bone. So these are the materials. You can see the pure hydroxyapatite material has less mechanical strength. However, by making the composite materials with lanthanum oxide, magnesium oxide, and carbon nanotube, we can enhance the mechanical strength of these materials. So now the contact angle study, it tells us whether the material is, we have to check the wettability of the material. If the contact angle less than the 90 degree, then we can say our material is hydrophilic. If the contact angle is more than 90 degree, we can say it is hydrophobic. So our material is hydrophilic. It means it is better. Hydrophilic means the surface might be the rough, or the forces are there on the surface, which are the requirement for a bone implant material. Now we also check the toxicity of these materials. So they are non-toxic on the different cells. So another material, ceramics, it is also comes under the ceramic materials. These are the nitride materials. For example, boron nitride, silicon carbide materials. They are also the very good material. Might be you heard about the name of the graphene. Graphene is the two-dimensional material. So the boron nitride is very similar to the graphene material. But graphene color is blackish color because it is the means derived by using the graphite. However, the boron nitride color is white color. So the people are saying that boron nitride is a means white graphene material, because it's also having a wonderful property for various applications. So by using this particular material, we can synthesize, we can design some composite materials. Why we are using it? Because to induce the ductility in the ceramic material, because ceramic materials are very hard in the nature. So after a certain value of the pressure, they get break immediately. So rupture, they get failure. However, so we have to enhance the ductility by using the hexagonal boron nitride. So these are the materials. You can see the comparison between the carbon nanotube and the boron, hexagonal boron nitride. So you can see the graphene single sheet 2D material. You can see the hexagonal boron nitride. So in that way, we can synthesize the boron nitride, hexagonal boron nitride material, which really wonderful material. So another material we synthesized our lab. It's really showing the tremendous properties. The single material can be used for many purposes. For example, it can absorb the ion, and it can it is hydrophobic with respect to the ion. However, it is hydrophobic with respect to the water, and hydrophilic with respect to the oil. So we can make the filter, we can design. So these are the materials which we are synthesizing in our research laboratory, and might be you already have seen our booth number 25. So we have some demo how to synthesize the materials. So I have some materials. If you are interested, you can see these materials. So synthesized in our lab. So these are some glass materials are there, and some ceramic materials are there, which are synthesized by using the ceramic materials. So our PET material, it is the zirconia. Wonderful globe we have. This you can see, this is the pure zirconia. It is highly dense material. It is really wonderful material for the fabrication of our PET. So such type materials still we are asking from the developed country. So our motto is that we have to synthesize such type materials in our country, in our research laboratory. So our efforts are continuing to synthesize to some good material for human being, and so that our country people and other peoples can get means they will be benefited. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity here. See how synthesize the glass in our research laboratory.
So thank you, Dr. Gautam. It was a wonderful lecture, and as I told you when I gave his introduction, that he is one of the most productive, young, dynamic, enthusiastic teacher of physics department of Lucknow University, which is also celebrating 100 years of his existence. So now I would like to call Dr. C.R. Gautam onto the stage, and I will request Dr. Mahendra Agnihotri, who is also his departmental colleague, to honor him by presenting him a memento, which is a token of appreciation on part of the organizing committee. तो आप लोग सामने आए, महेंद्र जी गौतम जी को साथ लेकर के आए, ये आपके विभागीय सहयोगी हैं और ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी के बिहाफ पे सेंटिनियल ईयर का मोमेंटो दे करके इनका सम्मान किया जाए और तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट जो है वो होती रहनी चाहिए, क्योंकि देखिए ये सब लेक्चर बहुत अच्छे, बहुत एमिनेंट साइंटिस्ट ने दिए हैं। पांडे जी फोटो खींच रहे हैं, तालियां बननी चाहिए। So there is a department which is adjacent to physics department, that is chemistry department, and it is also celebrating 100 years of its existence. So I would now like to request the head of chemistry department, Professor Arun Sethi, who is a very close friend of mine, to come onto the stage and deliver a lecture. And as is customary, I would like to give his brief introduction. He has asked me to keep his introduction very brief. So he is also an alumnus of this university, did BSc in 1981, MSc in 1983 and PhD in 1988. His research area is steroids. And one thing that I would like to share with the audience, that biochemistry department was a part of chemistry department from 1957 to 1963. And Dr. Soma Kumar and Dr. P.S. Krishnan started the idea of biochemistry department from chemistry. We originated from its parent department, and it was in 1964 only that the present building where the biochemistry department is housed came into existence. So with these few words, I welcome Professor Arun Sethi, a very distinguished scientist, a very decorated teacher of Department of Chemistry and a very close friend of mine, to deliver a lecture, centennial lecture in this ongoing science festival. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rehosra, for your kind words and your kind appreciation about me. I would like to thank also the organizers for giving me the opportunity to put the chemistry department on the celebration. And on behalf of the chemistry department, I will be delivering one of the basic lecture about chemistry.